The offseason program is complete. Day 3 of Bears Minicamp is over. We are here to break it down. Myself, Mark Carman, Adam Jahns, Greg Bragg's producing. Let's go one more post-practice show before we officially reach the summer. It all starts right now on CHGO. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast, recapping Day 3 of Bears Minicamp over at Hallis Hall. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Adam Jahns with us as well to start the show. And I don't know, I might just have to say it. I think he's the new executive producer of the show, Greg Braggs Jr. He's here today too.
Dude's just been doing an unbelievable job. His positivity, his inclusivity, his demeanor, his
versatility.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The way he welcomes me every day when we click on the link.
It's always very nice.
He's so excited to see me.
Yeah. Well, no, Steven's actually, I think, producing every show at the station this week. So I think he was even co-hosting the Sox postgame last night.
Go, Steven.
So, and
he'll be sitting in with me at some point next week as everyone's going on vacation, except for me. I'm here all for you next week.
Yes, and you're definitely not leaving us in the middle of the preseason at all.
Got some new dates for you. Then I
new dates. I didn't know we had dates to begin with.
The old switcheroo.
This is a true story as we go off tangent here, Jahns. I asked for vacation days. You guys can all vouch for them. Some of you provided. Carm sends me a link to Camp Nabagabon's website. It basically is like, here's my vacation days.
It's on the website. You have it here.
I put them in there.
Yeah.
I did. I took the link. I went to the website. I saw when family camp was, and I put them on our calendar. I'm shocked that calendar is up on your laptop right now. That's the stunning thing.
I had to put in some new dates, but it's what's also interesting is that Hoge's charging me for a Saturday and Sunday of vacation.
No, those aren't official. That's just how we know you're gone, because the Bears will practice those days, buddy. It's called training camp.
But if you go, okay. But if you go back to your days, see Hoge he doesn't count the weekend days. You don't see Hoge vacation on the weekends.
Because the Bears aren't practicing when I'm on vacation.
These are very good reasons, but yet also very enjoyable to look at. Hoge, blank days in July on the weekends. Carr vacation in August, vacation on the weekends. If Hoge was managing, those would be vacations. Hopefully Jake Flanagan, by the way, is having a great vacation himself this week.
Carm, no. During training camp, we work on the weekends. Don't make me back Hoge up on this.
You're right.
It's still a 5-day work week. I'm not getting charged for Saturday and Sunday.
No
chance.
Once training camp starts, no days off. Hashtag
Ben
no
Johnson.
days off.
Ben
right.
Johnson. Ben Hoge.
Right, which we're about to get to here. By the way, we have some new merch we would like to tell you about as the show gets underway here. Stored at ALLCITYNetwork.com. Of course, the World Cup getting underway. Mexico already with a win.
Let's go Mexico.
But I think South Africa was playing with 3 players by the time that match ended.
Too bad for South Africa.
So we got the cup collection here for you. It's all available now on our merch store, and we have watch parties coming up. So check it out, store.allcitynetwork.com. Can't wait to wear some of that to our watch parties here. And it all starts tomorrow night at Utopian Tailgate.
Great crowd coming out tomorrow night. A bunch of the fun CHGO youngins are going to be enjoying themselves at the old
Utopian
Tailgate. So I think it's going to be a good time. Come on out.
Remember that moment right there when Carm complains about the quarterback not being able to remember his teammates' names later on in the show.
Who says that I would do anything of the such while the camera is on? I just like trolling. It's called trolling Hoge.
It works.
Yes.
Texting me during the press conference.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
All right, Johnsy, let's jump in here. Best and worst of the day. Why don't you kick us off here as we go through our last mini camp practice here of the week as the Bears officially break for summer.
So my best was the performance of Caleb Williams and the starters in a 7-on-7 drill in the low red zone. I have Caleb Williams. Let's go through my notes. Low red zone drill, touchdown pass to Luther Burden, touchdown pass to Romanudze, touchdown pass to Colston Loveland. And then Carm, did you see this one? Tyson Bajan came in through a very nice touchdown pass to Maurice Alexander. Is that in your notes?
It's not, but it should be, and that's a great underlining by you. But I probably just wasn't surprised by it.
Maybe that's among my worst. Carm not observing practice.
Yes,
they moved it back.
My worst
Tyson
was
Bajan threw like one of the best passes of the day, and he missed it.
I mean, my worst were the reporters that had umbrellas out when it was not even raining. I'm not going to name names, but Brad Biggs. I mean, what's? I mean, not even raining.
He looked like Mary Poppins. It was amazing. I loved Biggs with his umbrella.
The biggest umbrella I've ever seen.
It was he seemed seemed contento with his umbrella.
Golf umbrella. High red zone. I have Caleb Williams with an incompletion after a slight scramble to Romanunze. I think he threw a touchdown pass to Cole Clement in the next play. He did have a touchdown pass to DeAndre Swift on the next one. And then his best pass in this red zone drill, this red zone 7-on-7 period, went to number 84. That would be who, Carm? Let's not forget.
I think his name is Colston Loveland.
Love a nice pass towards the corner of the end zone with number 33, Jalen Jones, trailing in coverage. My worst came after one of the best moments today at practice. Beautiful pass from Caleb Williams in a team period deep to Luther Burden, and the officials seem to be in disagreement. I think it's a touchdown. One official had his arms up, touchdown. The other official is ruling him down at the 5. Didn't like the disagreement there. I think he was in the end zone all the way.
So we'll circle back to that play here in a second. But I think the main part of that play was it was a phenomenal throw from the quarterback and a great catch from Luther Burden because that ball had to be perfectly thrown over I think there were 2 defenders trailing there. But because there's a part of that play that's part of my worst here. But let's go to the best, and it probably should be Cairo Santos making every single field goal today, including a 60-yard bomb. He was just nailing everything.
Cairo is having a hell of an offseason. I've never seen the leg looks loose. He was booming today, Cairo.
It looked really good, but I gotta go with Ben Johnson because he just every single day he does something like this. He says something like this. I don't know how it doesn't get you fired up if you're a Bears fan out there. So this was Ben Johnson today. Basically, when just asked, hey, what do you? So how you plan? What are you going to do the next 6 weeks? You got some time off here. How are you going to spend that time off? Here's what Ben Johnson had to say.
You have plans to get away from it, and kind of how do you handle it?
Yeah, I've always found the summer to be one of the better times in terms of getting ahead for the season. We haven't done a whole lot exotic here this off season. It's been, as I've talked about, fundamentals, technique. We're running fairly standard formations and plays at this point as we're trying to build the blocks from the ground up. And this offseason I'll be able to deep dive into some areas of interest for myself. And so I was just talking with Coach Studesville upstairs, and he's got a wealth of experience from a number of different places, but I can't wait to dive into his cut-ups that he's got from Miami. They did some really unique things, particularly in the run game over the last few years, and so that's one example right there. But we'll be able to make a lot of headway here this summer doing that. Yeah, for a minute. We'll get away. We'll get away.
Literally a minute.
So how you spending your time off, Coach? I'm going to review the Miami Dolphins run game.
I was just up there with Studesville, and we haven't been exotic enough. This guy's the greatest.
It's just all ball all the time, Johnsy. I couldn't help but laugh. Are you okay? But seriously, are you going to get away at all? Yeah, maybe for a minute.
He'll go to
his
a Cub
hobby.
game.
He'll go to a few Cubs games. You'll see him pop up. So that would be Mike McDaniel's run game for the Miami Dolphins. We know Mike McDaniel played a huge role in what the 49ers run game has become under Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Anyway, that was my best because I just don't know how you can. You gotta love that. So my worst also has to do with that play, Johnsy, that you brought up because I kind of disagree. I think like in practice you got to call him down at like the 5-yard line.
Nobody touched him.
Really? I thought there was a guy right there after the catch.
Respect the whistle.
I mean, either you're right there or you're making contact. You can't just be present. You got to make contact with him a little bit, right?
I guess I have to see the tape. I thought he did make contact. I don't know. Regardless, my part of the worst was if there's any gray area, you're in a hurry up situation. To explain the situation, they were down 9, so you need 2 scores, and there was like 3-something on the clock. It's a great play. But if they're going to roll you down, you can't throw the ball into the woods.
I missed that whole thing.
The whole team's trying to hustle up to the line, and there's no football because the ball.
But it was slower than that. Like the official in the end zone that Luther Burden runs past puts his arms up, touchdown.
Yeah,
it was the guy behind them that by the time the guy's pointing to the 5-yard line, that ball is well into the woods. So I'm going to defend Luther Burden a little bit on this one.
Who went and got the ball in the woods? Was that retrieved or is that still sitting there?
I'm sorry, I did not follow that part of
You
the
didn't
play.
follow-
I'm watching the offense try to line up and get Luther Burden back in the game, which to his credit, if we're going to spin this back to a positive, I mean, Caleb Williams, and he talked about this later, was like trying to get him back, hey, get lined up. Let's go here because we got to run another play. And by the way, they didn't get in the end zone when it was all said and done.
Well, that's what I noticed was everybody screaming and getting lined up, and he wanted to down the football and the organization of it all, which will dovetail into my best in a second here. But
anyway, all right. Well, no harm, no foul. He might have scored, he might not have. It's practice. You can't tell if the guy's getting tackled or not. Carm,
it was a great throw, and it was phenomenal.
Insane.
It was 40-yard flag route, out route, whatever you want to call it, on the money. And Luther made a great catch too. So that was fantastic. My best today, though, not surprising to anybody out there, is me. 11 o'clock, get in the car, get heading over for the 11:45 presser, and instant turmoil as the back left tire of the tracks has been compromised with a huge nail. And I'm not Ray Scarpelli. I don't know how to fix things. So, but somehow, some way I was able to find the tire pumper upper and got the car functional and made it to a local establishment where they fixed the blemish. And then I was able to make it in time to practice, to be able to soak in everything that was happening in the final day of minicamp. Really a phenomenal performance. But even before that, as I like to do starting my day, I thank you very much. I opened up my ALLCITY.com today to read Adam Jahns, and the headline, Kobe Bryant quickly becoming a headliner for the Bears defense, and Ben Johnson loves it. And then he starts right out, just right into a Carm's question yesterday to Kobe, just the teammate, the camaraderie of this group. Did
he mention your name?
No, I didn't get it. That's okay. That's okay. I don't need that acclaim.
We can't give him too much credit. He's giving too much to himself right now.
Believe me, I will. It's almost better to get credit because then I can just credit myself. So I just really thought that my contribution left and right here was just fantastic. But
how about the fact that the Jahns jinx struck again though, because he writes a story about Kobe Bryant. Didn't see Kobe Bryant at practice today.
Yeah, that was.
I did have a feeling that he might not be there because the way he was speaking yesterday seemed to have some finality. Like he sounded like he was leaving, even though there was like one more day of minicamp. When he says it felt good to get Caleb before I get out of here. Okay, there's one more day, but
so
sure enough, there he wasn't.
Some type of excused absence.
Not heard. Excused absence. We're good. I will go back to the Bears though for a best for those who don't want it to be me. Caleb's leadership is showing more and more. The play that you guys are just talking about, I mean, he's running down the field after the throw. He's screaming at everybody to get lined up. I thought, that's exactly what you want from your quarterback. I saw him hanging around with Garrett Bradbury on the sidelines, those two having a discussion, which is why I brought up, I asked Caleb about his relationship with Garrett. We could talk about that later and have some fun with it. But, it seems to me that he is, and then hearing from him today, and, he's very honest. what's different for you going into training camp this year compared to last year? And he starts talking about how he was drowning last year and, go and looking for a boat to come and rescue him. Like that is, there's a lot of confidence that comes with that to be able to talk about where when you were underwater, no pun intended. So I just thought there's a lot of good things coming there. I'll throw in one other best because it's the last day here. Kadir,
one of these days, Jahns, you get one best, one worst.
Nah, I got
one best, one worst.
Kadir Ismail.
This would be 3.
Receiver to receiver to running back throwing today. Kadir, who's in his 3rd year in the league, been on a bunch of practice squads, kicked around. Hopefully he maybe makes a team here. Who knows? We'll get to that down the line. But he had a beautiful throw to Xavier Thomas. So there was a lot of good throws. Colston Loveland had one too. That was some good stuff. And my worst of the day, I don't even want to talk about it, but I will. The final play of minicamp, my guy, Tyson Bajer had a phenomenal minicamp, by the way. I thought he was fantastic and just ran the offense nearly perfectly, but he did end the camp with an interception. And
that's how it ended. That's how they went into the offseason.
They blew the whistle.
And interception.
I mean, they're just obviously, you got to look at the positives here. Ben knows that Tyson can handle that and probably even takes it to further motivate himself. And he's as we go into the offseason here. But the fact that it had to end on that moment that wasn't the ending I was looking for. That's not what I wanted. But
Carr was in shambles.
Well, it's like once a practice where Bajan
what's the press etiquette when Carm falls to his knees on the final play of minicamp?
It's not good.
Listen,
not good etiquette.
How many people turn to stare at you after that interception?
That's part of the problem right now because
you brought that on yourself.
Well, see, the Hoge who is like actually more sensitive about Caleb than I am about Tyson. Every time Tyson does anything that's not perfect, which of course is like once every 10 days, Hoge's glare is just it is instant. Whereas
the bit is what it is.
Of course it's a good bit. It's a good bit. Yeah. But now people are joining you in the bit. Herb Howard's in on the bit.
Herb Howard's in on the bit.
There's some others that might be in on the bit too. But at any rate, that was my worst.
Jahns, any other takeaways from today?
No. I think I've been impressed with Xavier Thomas has been impressive. I think since day one, you see the speed, you see the way he's able to track the football. I saw some bad snaps though. Can I say something about the special teams? Like, is this going to be a thing we're going to talk about in training camp? Luke Elkin during that long special teams period with some low snaps to Tory Taylor.
So I didn't know where we were going to go here, but I would say that I think Bo Gardner is actually probably the leader in the clubhouse to win that job. He is the Manley Award winner. He's also bigger. He's just, if you look at it, and let's not forget, like, you have to be able to protect in punt and also get downfield and make a play sometimes in punt coverage. So I think he's got the size. I'd be lying if I, said here, I've been sitting here watching every single snap and trying to, break each one down. But
if you did lie, people would believe you, including me.
But Hoge was rewarded with last day minicamp. There was like a 10-minute special teams period as the second to last period of practice, and we got to see. Well, of course, Cairo Santos finished one team period with his field goals, and he saw Tory Taylor punt the football for a bit. And there's some of those snaps to him were a bit low.
Yeah, I thought the robot was improved too over the course of minicamp. Can't leave that out.
Robot was good. Luke Elkin, Bo Gardner. I mean, we want Bo to win that just for name recognition, right? Bo Gardner is that's an iconic potential name right there.
Well, it's not a potential name; it is his name.
Well, but potentially iconic. If he gets to, if he hits a Manley level, big bad Bo, put in the Gardner. Let's mulch up the soil, whatever you would say. There's a lot of opportunities here with Bo Gardner. Now, no disrespect to Luke Elkin, but that's more, down the middle.
Yes. Let's mulch up the soil.
I knew that you would have a problem with that, Mr. Whatever you are, bricklayer, podcaster, elite individual.
Jahns, who are you jinxing today?
Oh, well, Pat Norton's going to write about Caleb Williams. I'm going to have my lingering questions of the offseason column coming next week.
That's smart. Yeah, Pat write about the quarterback so he doesn't get jinxed.
That's good.
That's smart.
That's a good
I
move.
like that.
Just because the guy wrote a big feature about just happened to surprisingly retire after the season and change the Bears' whole offseason philosophy doesn't mean this should be held against me every single story I write.
I think it does actually.
Well, I got to tell you, this
The
Kobe
one and
Bryant's-
only Jude Allman feature last year. Yeah, I guess it is something.
I
Like Drew should have done you a solid on that one. Been like, hey, you might,
if you're
I
not,
might retire, so maybe you shouldn't write this.
but more importantly, if jinx or no jinx, if you're not a diehard and subscribing to and using the code JAHNS and missing these pieces from Jahns, I mean, this is a really, really, really enjoyable read on Kobe Bryant. Really well done. The flow, it's like. It was like reading it today. It was like a beautiful, freshly squeezed lemonade on a summer day. That's the way I started my day. It was so pleasant. It was such pleasant reading compared to some of the other mulch that is out there. This was beautiful. I really enjoyed it.
All right,
Well, thanks, Carm.
It was outstanding, and I don't. Have you ever had a story described that way?
No,
Fresh squeeze. Notice how you put the fresh squeezed in there, of course.
Yeah,
It's gotta
not,
be.
not mulched. I think that's a positive.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Well, Jahns and I will be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Full recap of minicamp.
Right when Yuri's going to be getting after it.
I might save that for the end of the show.
Okay, good.
Carmen's hiring somebody to put together a bed for him.
Great move by Carm. If I have to
Like a
say so
handyman?
myself. Say again.
Local handyman.
Local handyman. I'm task rabbiting, and yeah, I might claim to upper management to Jaqueline that because she goes to yoga, has her morning workout, and then when she comes back, it'll be done, and I might claim that I just did it. So
Another win for Carm today.
I don't think. I mean, listen, I did do it. I booked it. I ordered it.
So
I
technically, yeah, you're right. You're not lying.
This guy's unbelievable.
So
All right.
Yuri, if you're out there, be on time. Let's get this done because she's doesn't.
Yeah, if you're late, you got a problem.
Yeah, no, we don't.
She's gonna come in and have some questions.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. We need a quick, the old in and out. Let's go.
It's easy. All right. Johnsy, we'll see you in the morning.
See you, boys. See you tomorrow.
All right, 9 a.m. on Hoge and Jahns tomorrow. We got a bunch of Caleb Williams stuff. He spoke after practice today. We're going to share all that with you. Some entertaining stuff with Caleb Williams. So that's all coming up next. Plus, we're also going to give away some awards. Not give away. We're going to, kind of. We're going to award some players that performed during OTAs, during the offseason program.
We're giving away the CHGO awards. There's no actual material, anything that goes with it, but this matters.
All right, fair enough. It's all coming up. Don't go anywhere. Hit that like button. But first, hey, once again, time to tell you about the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. What if you could have reliable and intelligent co-hosts? I mean, Wi-Fi. And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together. It finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, Carm.
That's right. Super intelligent.
6th sense.
Yaroslav.
Lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part is no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. So right now you can lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Check it out right now, the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
And a shout out to our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary. Hey, we got some breaking news here. Pay attention. They've got, it's called Good News Tea Time Vapes. And what is that tea time? It's a lemonade flavor. It should go well with an Arnold Palmer on the golf course. Don't go now because we're having that weather situation, but perhaps over the weekend or all summer long. Right now with Sunnyside, they're having the Stash Pass Summer. It's live. What is it?
Live.
It's the Summer Rewards Program. Sunnyside letting you earn rewards simply by visiting the website, making some qualifying purchases. You get a stamp that brings you close to your next reward. And then every 4 visits, your 5th trip, that's right, you are moving on to the next tier, getting all the free stuff. Get it done. Go to their website, only the best under the sun. 50% off your first 3 online purchases with the code HICHGO. HICHGO. Sunnyside Dispensary, only the best under the sun, and only for 21 and older or Illinois medical card holders.
If you're wondering why Carm randomly said Yaroslav during that ad read, it's because he originally booked Yaroslav to build the bed for him.
And I just didn't think
and then he canceled on Yaroslav and booked Yuri instead.
Yaroslav wasn't up to the task. And sometimes you got to pivot in life. And I'm going, I had it. Yaroslav got dumped for Yuri. No offense to Yaroslav. It actually was a timing issue. So I'm sure Yaroslav's doing a great job out there. But Yuri's ready to rock and roll, so I can try to pull off this miracle that I actually assembled the bed myself.
Hopefully she doesn't watch the program.
She does check it out, but I think we're in the pocket where she's not watching. 4:00 show. It's not as it's out of the Jaqueline pocket.
All right. Well, for those that are watching, let's give them some Caleb Williams stuff. I didn't know we were going to start the press conference with this, but it was bound to come up. Micah Parsons, the stuff he said on the NFL 100, at one point putting Iceman #1, but then saying, he's the fire to the ice. This was how Caleb Williams handled those questions today at House Hall.
Just funny. He's, obviously, it's, good jokes. Obviously, we're football players and on opposite teams, so it's a little rivalry, but nothing taken to heart and things like that. He said he's fire and I'm ice, so see which one holds over.
You also think hinted that he was best friend.
Yeah. It's cool. Nothing else about that.
Would you ever vote for Packers as the best player?
Probably not, but that's on my side of how I do things. But obviously he's a phenomenal player. You worry about him every single snap. So kudos to him and speedy recovery.
Do you remember when some of the narrative coming out of college is that he's like not friendly with the media, and there was just this whole.
Well, there were games in which he didn't speak after they. Now, whether that was, they tried to paint that as that was going to be a problem at the NFL level because you have to speak, and I think that in the moment had more to do with college football has a different way of handling things PR wise, and if they wanted to make him speak, they probably could.
Well, whatever the reasons were, but that was out there.
Yeah.
This dude has been, and it wasn't great, by the way. The rookie year he had 10 losses in a row and everything else. He has been in front of that microphone and has comported himself like a gentleman every single time. I mean, really.
No question about it.
And that was a gentlemanly response to the Micah Parsons thing. Not that it was some really tough question, but the way he handled it, I liked it.
Well, yeah, and he's got personality. Put some thought into his answers every single time. There's a few more of these just from today. He was asked how he's going to handle the next few weeks off with his vacation time, and this is what Caleb Williams said.
What's your plan for the next 6 weeks?
Get away from the coaches. That's what Ben says, so start it there. Get away from the coaches for the next 6 weeks or so, and then train and get ready. That's the most important thing, is getting ready to come back in shape and ready to score touchdowns, keep the interception, low, and, make sure I'm out there, at my best for my guys.
Obviously a little bit of fun there, but I also, if that came from Ben Johnson said, was similar at the end of the season, get away from football from a little bit. He's very much, even though Ben clearly, we talked about that earlier in the show, isn't necessarily getting away from football during his off time. I think he is good with the players being like, look, when you're in this building, we're going to get after it hard. We are doing football and it's not going to be easy. But when you're not in here, take the time to enjoy life, take care of your business, get away from it. And so that seemed like that was the message to Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, I don't exactly know how Ben delivers these messages, but I imagine it's something like, guys, good to get a little bit away from the game, but this is also the time where you guys are working out on your own and making sure we're not here to babysit you. So, stay on it and get some time away too.
Well, the cool thing about going through a training camp like they went through last year is they know, at least the players returning, what type of shape they need to be in when they get back. Exactly, how to exactly handle it. And setting that foundation, that's part of setting a foundation, right? So I think these guys that we heard Montez Sweat yesterday, and we played that for you on the show yesterday, in case you missed it, he very, very similar message. Like they know that they got to be ready to go when they come in, because training camp is not going to be easy. Speaking of training camp last year, he was asked just the difference between being able to handle things this year compared to last year and what he went through. And this was a very honest response from Caleb Williams.
What's the advantage for you of knowing what to expect in training camp this year? Where at this time?
Yeah. It's a hell of a lot more fun for me than it was last year, just because it was, I was saying to Coach Stews, it was like, dude, I felt like I was drowning, trying to breathe, or stay alive and wait for a boat to come around. Last year, now this year, it's like I said earlier, it's being able to start where we finished last year, play calls and words and verbiage and speak the same language, and now it's been able to grow more from an earlier stage than maybe doing it maybe a little bit earlier in the season or halfway through the season, and speaking on things that really helps throughout the year and later in the year, and so that's the advantage.
Knowing what's coming, right?
Well, yeah, and we touched on it at the start of the show, but look, he's told you basically everything about last year's training camp, that his relationship with the coach was fragile, as he put it. Now he's talking about how he was drowning. I mean, it was hard. They were, and
that's what it looked like to us.
Yeah, it was right. And that's why it was really, honestly, how an amazing year for Ben and Caleb and the entire offense, from where they started to where they got to. So that was a long climb up the mountain that they did in a very short period of time, really. So which is why, when you think logically about it, if you made that jump from year 1 to year 2 for him in his career in Chicago, now your second year with Ben, going from year 2 to year 3, you would think that this year has the potential to be, it should be his best, obviously, and how high is up, nobody knows, but I don't think you want to take any chips off of the table of what they can hit this year.
And how are they going to do that? Look, they have high goals. Caleb has high goals, but he was asked, I thought this was a good question in the press conference, more specifically, like, what's next? Like, yeah, you want to get to the top, but what do you need to do now, or right when training camp starts? Like, what are the more microscopic goals right now to continue in that ascension towards the top? And this is what he had to say.
For me, it's just get the completion percentage up, keep the offense on the field more, score as many points as possible, be the highest score in offense, because that's my part of the offense, or that's part of my part in the team, going out there, orchestrating it, and then being able to go out there and score, whether it's handoffs or passes, whatever, that doesn't matter. It's just being able to put up as many points as possible to help our team win as many games as possible, and then keeping the turnover rate low.
I've said this before. I mean, Ben Johnson, I think, is pretty obsessed with having the best offense in the league, and he was able to say that over the course of a 3-year period in Detroit, and I think he's hell-bent on establishing that here in Chicago, and that would be pretty incredible. Bears not really used to having high-flying offenses, so I think that's clearly rubbing off on Caleb Williams when he says things like that. And this came up on yesterday's show too, and I just feel like if you get that completion percentage up, I know some people are tired of hearing about it, want to make excuses for the 58% last year, but whatever, like, the coach is on record saying 70%, including the throwaways. Now, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen this year, but if they can just get to 65%, there's a world in which their offense is right at the top of the NFL.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I don't think because of his big playability, if like the play that we saw to Luther today, or the zillions of plays that we saw last year, I don't think they need to be at 70 to get to the upper levels, but they can't be at 58 either. It's gotta be a little bit more consistent. I just don't see him as a high completion guy for a while. I mean, that's not really who he is. And in my mind, that's fine, but I also get the goal that they're trying to attain.
But don't you think it gets better this year?
I do. I do. I mean, but 65 would be an enormous jump. That'd be 7% higher. You complete 7% more passes. The Bears are going to go from, what did they score last year? 26 points a game. I mean, they could very well be in the 30s.
But I think there's 3 parts where it can improve. I mean, one is the drops need to get back. They need fewer drops this year. 2, if they can get fewer throwaways as a result of the whole offense operating better. And then 3, he also just improves his accuracy. If there's just a little bit in all 3 of those, I do think you can get
that's reasonable
closer to 65%. I mean, maybe 64 is more realistic, 63, whatever you say, but I don't think it's off the table. If all 3 of those just improve a little, it could add up to 7%.
We have a super chat here. Normally we save them for the end, but this is obviously on topic. And Sangray Kim's asking, like, all in all, do you guys think the offense is further along than where it was this time of the year last year, operation wise and Caleb accuracy wise? I know it's only mini camp. You're in pajamas, but at the same time, like where would you say it is from last year at this time?
Yeah, but that stuff still matters even though they're in pajamas. Because this isn't the time of year where you're analyzing the line of scrimmage and the run game, but it's a time of year where you drill really hard on throwing the ball in your passing game and also operationally the offense. So to answer your question, saying, right, yes, it's way ahead. It's way ahead of where it ended training camp. It's way ahead of where it was in week 2, I would say. Now, there were still moments. There was one practice right at the start of OTAs where they did have a lot of false starts. Didn't really see a lot of false starts in all the other practices we saw. There were moments where some of the rookies were lined up wrong. Those are rookie moments. There were definitely still a handful of throws where, the ball got away from Caleb. But I think on both of those points, operationally, way better. And overall, accuracy-wise, too, I'm seeing a better version of Caleb Williams. And their words tell you that, too. Because Ben Johnson was honest last year when it wasn't looking good. He was telling you that on almost a daily basis. Today, he seemed very pleased with the work that they put in over the offseason program. And he spoke before practice even happened today. And Caleb, too, said that he was pretty happy with the improvements.
Yeah, night and day. It's a huge difference, Sangray, everybody. That's so, I mean, and we talked earlier in the week how they've had their wonky moments, I think is the word that we used. And they have, but last year at this time, it was a wonkinator. I mean, it was ugly. And I was, and
the Bears themselves were concerned.
Correct.
I don't sense any of that concern right now.
The head coach was concerned as far into past preseason games last year. There was concern. So, but to the brilliance of Ben and the talent of Caleb and all of it, they just kept working at it.
All right, last one we have for you. This has to do, and again, I thought an honest moment from Caleb Williams talking really more about his demeanor, which the head coach has talked about how much that matters, body language and just the way you handle yourself. I think this stuff matters. This was a good question from Dion Miller, and I love Caleb's honesty in response.
Yeah. I mean, Leaf has only been here for, I don't know, a couple months or so. And so Leaf came up to me, and I wasn't, there was another day I wasn't having, the best practice. And so I got really frustrated. And Leaf came up to me and said, everybody's looking at you. And that really resonated for me, because that's been something that from my first year to now that I want to be as stoic as possible, good, bad, or indifferent, and not be too high or too low for the guys. And so when he said that to me, it stuck with me and it bothered me. And so just every day having, that type of mindset, be as stoic as possible, be as, strong as possible for the guys. Because they're looking at me, and it's a lot of I know that's it takes a lot to do that, because it's such a passionate and the energy in the sport is so strong. But it's important to me. It's important to the guys, it's important to coach. So
when he says Leaf, he's talking about Khalif Raymond, and so I find that clip there notable for a couple reasons. One is we've talked about Khalif Raymond this week and about that leadership void and him trying to fill that in the wide receiver room and on offense. So the fact that he already feels comfortable enough to say something like that to Caleb Williams and Caleb Williams taking it in positively, I think is notable. And I think that this is a work in progress for Caleb Williams because, it goes back to his rookie year. And I think there were plenty of moments where perhaps his demeanor was an issue at times on the sideline. And Khalif's right that they're looking at it. And I think we saw moments last year too of frustration, but we also saw moments by the end of the season where, and I've brought this up a few times, where in that playoff game against the Packers, even when they're losing or right after the second possession before they took the lead late, I mean, he's immediately on the sideline in everyone's faces in a positive way about what they're doing next. And so you got to keep it more on the positive side, and that demeanor does matter. So I love that this is something that he's aware of, that he's taking positive feedback and constructive criticism on at times. And this is all completely normal for a young quarterback who's evolving and continuing to become a bigger leader in that room and on the team.
Yeah, there's a ton to like there. One, when he said that today, Leaf, I was like, who's Leaf? Like
Ryan Leaf?
That's literally what I was thinking. I was like, did they hire Ryan Leaf as some quarterback coach? Like I was not following along with what was happening. And I was like, oh, Khalif Raymond. Oh, wow. Been here all of 5 seconds, and he's talking about demeanor, which I think he might have been tipped off to that, this is one of the areas of growth that, that Caleb needs to take.
But Ben's been all over it too since last year. He's talked about this.
Well, that's my point. Like, yeah. I think that Ben, bringing in a guy that he knows and probably told him, hey, look, sometimes when things are not going well for him, he'll start to show it. And you as a veteran, it's possible. I'm just, I don't know this at all, but that would make sense to me that he would be like, I would love some locker room help here. And, you're talking, Caleb's 24 years old. He's going to turn 25. What are you laughing at? Something Greg Braggs did.
No, I'm laughing because Ben, we use this word stoic. It is so hard to get that guy to react to anything in a game.
Right.
And I gotta be honest, I don't want Caleb to be to that level. Like, I want him to have emotion sometimes. I want him to, occasionally show, because I think it's also important that when guys F up, it's okay for the quarterbacks to let them know sometimes, like, hey man, that's unacceptable. That's also part of being a leader. And I want him, to bring out the Iceman Selly sometimes too, when that calls for it. So there is a fine line there, and he's got to have it, but I also want him to also feel free to show his emotion when the time calls for it as well.
Right. He's a human being. Things are going to happen. He's going to he'll wear his heart on his sleeve or his anger on his sleeve. And no one's trying to vilify him. Certainly not anyone on this show is trying to vilify him for that. And for the old hats out there who've watched one of my favorite movies of all time, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you do have to have a little Mike Damone wherever you are. Isn't this great? Like, even when the couple incompletions here or there, or even worse, interception, whatever in practice that he's not liking, just, hey man, maintain your confidence, maintain your calm. Most important play is the next play. We all know this. We've been here. We've done this. We've won a million games over time, and we know that you're going to play great in the next play. But Caleb's also shown that when things don't go well and the emotions come out, he does move past it, and then he is able to, move things forward.
All right. Well, a lot of good stuff from Caleb today. Enjoyed all of those cuts. And honestly, there's even more. It was about a 15-minute press conference. So maybe
the fact that my question didn't make the cut is very upsetting. But
we'll talk about your question.
Yeah, but we'll listen. You guys are all off next week. I might play my question on a loop for a week, and then they'll be back.
Great. I'm sure Steven will love that. Carman Steven week coming next week. All right, let's take our final time out here. When we come back, we're going to hand out some awards for the offseason program. Some guys you haven't even heard of that you need to pay attention to. That's all coming up next. Hit that like button as we continue to recap Bears minicamp. Greg Braggs is going to join us here as well for the next 15 minutes or so. That's all coming up. But first,
Hey, thank you for being a part of the CHGO community.
You're welcome.
Dear, hey, you were the start, buddy, to tolerating, yours truly tolerating Gregory P. Allen Braggs. And yes, it's true. We are always looking to improve our shows, better understand how you listen, what you value the most. That's why we are launching this quick survey where you can help us if you'd be so kind to take the time. Won't take too long, only a few minutes, but it should make a big impact. Take a moment by going to allchgo.com/contest, allchgo.com/contest, and let your voice be heard. And once again, we greatly appreciate it. We know that everybody's got a busy life.
I already filled it out 3 times.
Well, there you go. Don't like my chances for future employment. Respondents do have a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. You get that when you talk amazingly about me, or actually, that's really not a key at all. Just get in there and give yourself a chance to win. We very much appreciate you. Thank you for making the time.
And I'm going to tell you about the drink of the World Cup. Oof. Bring your friends, your fans, your frenemies all together. One Casa Amigos marg at a time. No matter who you're supporting, say cheers with a Casa Amigos margarita. And the World Cup is underway. Mexico taking care of business today. Pair your World Cup watch party food with a delicious, new, ready-to-enjoy Casa Amigos margarita. I know what I'm having when I go to one of our watch parties. I'm going to be at Bub City next week, the 19th. So is Carm. We're both going to be there.
Partay.
Tomorrow night, though, is when it all kicks off. Utopian Tailgate. That's right, June 12th versus Paraguay. And you can get the Casa Amigos margarita. 2 flavors, classic lime and spicy. Come out to one of our U.S. men's national team watch parties this summer, whether you're at your favorite spot or stocking up for home. Make it Casa Amigos. Go to allchgo.com/events to RSVP to any of our watch parties. We got an important update here that we got to share on the whole putting a bed together saga.
Yeah, I'm in trouble here. Quote from Jaqueline: "You are absolutely not having someone come over to put that together. I will do it tonight. It's the easiest thing. Cancel him. This is shocking."
I'm trying to. That was my reaction when we began this thing before the show even started.
I'm trying to listen. Jaqueline is the most amazing mom ever, raising 2 kids, the 3rd kid with me, and
and we all appreciate her.
She's a therapist by day, a mom by all the rest of the day. And, it's a lot going on. School's over, camp coming up. So just it was a nice gift in my mind in reality for the lovely Jaqueline. But now she's mad at me. So I apologize that for trying to do something in my mind that was very nice. And by the way, I also said I somehow found the I somehow found the tire plumper. Well, what I did was I went inside because I couldn't find it in the garage, and I asked 7-year-old Layla, "Hey, do you know where this is?" And she's like, "Yes, I do." And she found it and helped me out.
I would.
Shout out to Lulu who got my going.
Layla, I'd say has a better chance of putting a spare tire on the car than you.
Well, she definitely has a better chance of assembling the bed than I do. Layla could do it. I could.
That hard.
Come on. It takes forever. You got to unload the stuff. There's a million different screws and this and that. And it's a nightmare. Assemblage is that I would rather shovel a mile-long driveway than assemble a bed or assemble anything. Just I don't know.
Okay.
Gregory, where are you at on this conversation? I need your input now.
You could not torture that kind of information out of me that I would have another grown man come in and build my bed, and then my wife or significant other calls or texts me and tells me, "No, we're not going to. I'll do it."
Yes,
you're worthless. That's I would not admit that on the air. You couldn't beat that information out of me.
Hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with being the dude that can't assemble things. I mean, come on. That is. I'll mow the lawn. I'll do the dishes. I'll shovel the driveway. I'll refill the water.
Refill the water.
Well, we got the AquaTrue. It's constant maintenance to have the water ready to go. Assembling a bed? No. Honestly, I couldn't. No, there's worse things that I would. My time is money. You all need me at my bed. Go. I gotta go play tennis.
I was gonna say, is you go off and play tennis for 3 hours.
I gotta, it keeps me sane. Can you imagine if I didn't play tennis, how I would deal with all of you? I mean, there's only so much I can. I need my sanity.
All right. Let's get to the awards from the offseason program. We've seen a total of 6 practices, 6 of the 9 that the Bears have had throughout the offseason program.
That was really one of Greg Braggs' greatest slides ever. You couldn't beat that information out of me. That was really good, Gregory.
A phenomenal contribution. It was kind of where my head was at, and I was just trying to be nice. So I'm glad Braggs came in to spell it out how it is. MVP, most valuable player. I am going to go with a guy who I wasn't even sure would be at these practices, and then he was there, and he looked really, really good. Jalen Johnson. I think this is a very positive development for the Chicago Bears, looking more and more like the old Jalen Johnson. Now, I'd like to see the pads go on and stack, a bunch of training camp practices together. Before now, I thought he was many times the best player on the field during OTAs.
That is, he had a great day yesterday. I was actually paying extra attention to him today. He was sticky in the corner, looked good. Ben is, not crowning him quite yet, and we'll have to see how this all plays out because, Jalen had a significant injury, and he did not, particularly look great early on, but it does look like he's getting healthier, which would be an enormous development for the Bears because let's be honest, that corner room is a little thin and thinner with Kyler still dealing with whatever, injury that he's dealing with now, which sucks. My MVP, I'm going Colston Loveland. Just a bunch of catches all over the field, and just seems to be a guy that his press conference. So you're gonna have 1,000 yards. Well, yeah, if they want to go that way, or I'll have 400 yards and we'll win that way. We got a ton of options. There's nothing not to like about what Colston Loveland's bringing to the team, and I had a hard time picking an MVP because I didn't think anybody really stood out to that level. But Colston has had a great couple of days. He seems like he's had a phenomenal offseason period.
The next one we're going to do is surprisingly impressed with. For me, I was surprisingly impressed with Xavier Thomas's route running. I'm the guy on this show that loved the pick and really thought this was going to be a great weapon for the Bears to use. But that was mainly with the caveat of he's going to be an electric returner and he's going to be able to be used as a gadget guy as long, they're going to kind of have to manufacture touches for him probably a lot near the line of scrimmage and then let him, use his speed. As you might have seen on that highlight the Bears put out, we talked about the play yesterday where he catches the ball and then just takes off. But beyond that, I saw this guy run some legitimately good routes during OTAs and catch some passes, more, intermediate level throws that I wasn't necessarily expecting to see so soon from him. So I'm now picturing different ways in which the Bears can use him. And Caleb actually was asked about that today, I think by Herb Howard, and had a pretty strong answer in the same direction of like, yeah, man, this guy has shown some stuff. That he's I don't think he's going to be limited to just being a gadget guy. It's just a matter of, I think, how much he can handle offensively to be able to earn his way out of the field.
Right. It's how much do you digest what the offense is, and can you line up in the right place, and then can you play free enough that your speed will come to life. That's a good one. He had I thought a very impressive camp, and then it was interesting.
And I think the thing that we have to remember with Xavier and Sam Roush is they're ahead of, when you talk about like where's Caleb at and the offense at compared to last year at this time and this year at this time. Well, last year at this time, Colston Loveland and Luther Burden were still working through injuries.
Yeah.
And weren't a part of the offseason program, where you have two rookies this year with tight end and wide receiver again, but they're more ahead of the game than last year's two rookies who exploded during the season.
That's an excellent underlining. It's very true. They were, Loveland everybody, I think, remembers the shoulder injury he was dealing with when the Bears drafted him. But people might forget that Luther Burden missed time too.
He got hurt in rookie minicamp. We didn't see him, I think, until training camp.
We were like, where is he? It went on for a while, and then one day he showed up, and then he had no idea where to line up. And then I said that he was going to have a redshirt year, which turned out to be dead wrong. Hey, Greg Braggs, do you want to name yourself as MVP because it's in the rundown that you're the MVP?
Yeah, I just threw that in there.
I mean, yeah, come on.
You've been the MVP this week.
MVP.
Yeah. You haven't given your surprisingly impressed.
Well,
yet.
Braggs just named him. Sam Roush. I did not expect that. Physically, he's very impressive. Oh wow. Well, yes, you do have the size and strength to play the position of tight end in the NFL. That works. But I wasn't expecting him to come right out and start making a bunch of catches. And his hands look good. So I don't know how high is up for Sam in year one and the 20% of the time that he potentially could be out there like Durham Smythe was last year. But I think at least early going here, Sam Roush to me has impressed. And what is Hoge breaking out right now as he's going into his
stuff I should have had out earlier.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. So so for me, surprisingly impressed. I wasn't expecting him to look as good catching the football as he has.
Well, and I think Caleb Williams also is big on Sam Roush. He mentioned the tight end room and specifically mentioned Sam at one point, but I think he was talking about best baseball arms, but he was also on a podcast a couple weeks ago. I think it may be with the Kelsey brothers, but they were talking about the tight end group and he's like, oh, you haven't seen the other one yet.
Yeah.
So get ready. So, that's definitely interesting to hear that from you, Carm.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, let's go dark horse.
All right, our dark horse to make the roster.
This category, perhaps inspired by the one Jeff Joniak.
Yeah, we kind of did this segment already in the media room today, and I was like, hey, that'd actually be a good topic for the show today. Guys, we might have a controversy, a Canadian controversy. Might have a new Canadian Eagle.
Would be amazing.
Let me introduce you to Kyle Hergel, who a couple weeks ago, I had no idea who this guy was. But Kyle Hergel has been getting reps at both guard positions with the twos. And yesterday, when Joe Tooney came out for a little bit, nothing wrong. Just I think they were managing his reps as a veteran. He slid in there with the first team at left guard instead of Jordan McFadden. Now, who is Kyle Hergel? Kyle Hergel was born in Toronto.
The Hergenator.
He was, after going undrafted in 2024, was also the third overall pick in the Canadian Football League draft. Now, he never played in the CFL because he ended up catching on with the Saints. He was waived at the end of training camp last year, though, and it looks like to me, from what I could tell, not on a team until November 4th when the Bears added him to the Bears practice squad. So he's been with the team since November. He was practicing with the team in part of the playoff run and then was assigned a reserve future contract. Quite the story, though. I mean, in college, he didn't really have a ton of offers, ends up at North Dakota, then ends up moving up to Texas State, and then eventually finished at Boston College. So a Boston College connection here. Ryan Poles and also Ben Johnson has in his own Boston College connections too. Just an interesting guy. I'm basing this more on, obviously we can't see a ton of what they're doing there's no pads on. You can't evaluate, but the fact that he's getting the reps he was certainly notable to me, and perhaps a guy who wears number 60. So when we get around to training camp and the pads go on, maybe a guy to keep an eye on as a dark horse to stick around.
That's a good one for you there, Hoge. He played 8 games for the Saints. That is so he has been on the field, not as a starter, but in 2024, he played 8 games with New Orleans. Who was the head coach then in New Orleans? That would be Dennis Allen. The year he got fired, going 2-7. So did Dennis Allen have hey, you might want to throw a Hergel into the mix here? I would think that is likely. If you're the Bears, you're bringing up a Hergel who's played with the Saints, you would certainly ask Dennis about it. Was it some strong recommendation that this guy could give us some depth? Who knows? But we have noticed Hergel out there. It's a good Hergel. He's a good Hergel. He's Hergen. He'll and look, depth on that offensive line. Last year, I didn't know where Jordan McFadden started in a playoff game. So who knows who's popping up behind the scenes. I'm going.
You have run out of time here. Sorry.
No.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
We're going to have to wait for overtime to hear Carm's dark horse. Let's tell you about the golf outing here coming up, though. It's the Great Big CHGO Scramble. It's coming up Friday, June 26th. If you are thinking about attending, please sign up in the next 24 hours. You don't have to, but we are submitting some numbers to the golf course tomorrow, and so it'd be helpful for us if you're signed up by tomorrow. Cannot wait. I believe the twosome to play with Jahns and I is still out there. You can also play with Carm. If you become a diehard, you get 20% discount on all of our events. Code JAHNS. That spells Jahns. $36 diehard offer available. Bragg snipped me there.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know that the last people that I played golf with in the foursome, we're still best buddies to this day. So
what are their names?
We are friends for life.
What are their names?
Blake is the leader. Blake is the leader of the group. I mean, I could show you text right here.
You can show us the text as you look up their names.
No, I right there. Look at that. Last time we texted was March the 12th. That's not yesterday, but it was
your best friend.
We had a great conversation, me and my guy, and we all the fun in the sun was had. So if you're looking for a great time and a friend, I mean, I need friends, you need friends. Let's all be friendly. June 26th.
You can come over and put together furniture for Carm too, if you become his friend.
Well, that you have that capability. I wouldn't,
who do you have making the roster, Carm? I'm trying to get to Florida.
Focus.
Hayden Large and in charge there. No pun intended. Hayden Large.
This is the second time you've said that in the show.
Well, it's in this behemoth over here is asking me who I'm putting on the roster. So I'm putting on Hayden Large. Iowa Hawkeye. H-back, somebody interesting who could play the fullback spot. Don't know who's playing that spot. If they want some versatility, special teams on the roster. He looks large. He is in charge. I haven't noticed him do a whole lot out there, but if you're looking for a dark horse who I think they might be interested in, just somebody who could be a little gadget guy, make some plays in a variety of ways. Hayden Large, pay attention to him once training camp gets going.
And I'll give you some credit here because this, to bring this full circle, the birth of this segment idea was all Joniak, who I think was trying to put you on the spot. And as the greatest rivalry in the Bears media room continues between Mark Carman and Jeff Joniak, I think he was basically like, hey, have you been paying attention? Do you have anybody who would actually make this roster? And yes, there we go. Quote, Class A idiot, Jeff Joniak on Mark Carman. And you surprised him with a real answer. And his response, let it be known, was that's a good candidate. That's a good dark horse candidate. So that answer was actually Jeff Joniak approved.
Yeah. It was a fascinating conversation. Can we say who Joniak's dark horse is? Is that legal? I think that's legal, right?
Yeah. That's a good one.
So Joniak, by the way, is looking at Kyron Hudson, number 20 in your play sheet, wide receiver out of Penn State. And it's a good call by Joniak because I've been asking myself a million times during training camp, seemingly, who's 20? Because he looks the part. He is big, 212 pounds, 6'1". He absolutely, the physical stature stands out watching him on the field, and he's caught a ton of balls.
Correct me if I'm wrong, too, Braggs. Isn't 20 the number Jahns Walker was wearing in training camp last year?
Yeah, well, he wore it all last season too, and then
that's
he
right.
switched here this offseason.
So this could be the second straight year in which number 20 surprises. Now, I would question what type of opportunity is actually there to crack the roster, but we probably said the same exact thing about Jahns Walker this time last year too, and he forced his way onto the roster because they didn't want to lose him.
Well, listen, that wide receiver room has a ton of candidates, and a lot of people Joniak included, by the way, thinks that Scotty Miller's making the team, who's caught
No,
9.
he's an 8-year veteran. I think he has a chance. Maurice Alexander's also been heavily involved.
Maurice Alexander's made a ton of great catches, including the one that Jahns mentioned from Bajan today. That was a great throw that somehow I missed. But regardless, it's a good problem to have, man. They got receivers all over the place.
Braggs, you want to chime in on anything before we get to supers here? You don't have to. You have your own show tonight or
No.
next week, but yes.
No, you did. You guys are doing a great job.
Go ahead. let it out. We can give you the 5-minute
We
dance
can get
floor.
to supers if
Yeah, we got a ton of supers. Let's just get to that.
all right. Weston, $10. Says Caleb gave Hogan Jahns a perfect new probably not drop for their podcast. That's an old Trubisky. So should we update the Trubisky drop with Caleb?
That doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
Okay. Guess not.
And you could.
Thanks for pointing that out. I have to go back and figure out where that is. I like that. Greg Bags, $10, says I would join the diehard, but Carm needs to stop telling his dreams. Bear down.
Bags, you love everything that comes out of my mouth. Bags. I think that was legal what I just said. By the way, before I forget, I was pulling out of the facility today, and there's an island out there where fans will come to get autographs, which I don't know how that goes, but I asked, what do you?
I always wanted to. Do you pull over and talk to them every day?
So not every day, but I do it, fairly often. I'll, depending on the energy. Like yesterday, I did, and I was like, and I asked the same question every time, like, who's been stopping? Who's your favorite? Who's the nicest? Who's been the best? Who's been the coolest? And yesterday they all looked. Oh, yesterday I did the tornado thing. I'm like, the fact that you guys are out here in the middle of a tornado is elite. You guys are elite. And they all looked at me with this blank stare, like, get out of here, you complete lunatic. I thought it was a kind of a fun comment, but they literally all just stared at me, and then I just drove away. Today, I rolled down the window and I asked them, who's been signed and who's been the nicest. And Autumn, who I now know is a great fan of the show, was like, Mark Carman, oh my God. And I was like, I literally thought that was a joke. But Autumn was a huge fan of the show, and I signed Autumn's hat. And Autumn,
Wow.
You're the best. Big fan. So shout out to Autumn. But who do you think they said was the nicest Bears of the day? Nicest Bears of the day. Braggs, you want to guess?
Cole Kmet.
Nope.
Caleb Williams.
That's one.
Oh,
And one more.
Tyson Bagent.
Bajan did not get a mention.
Roma Dunze.
I'll just answer. Caleb and Cairo were the two.
Oh,
Caleb and Cairo. So it's who's stopping and signing and whatnot. I mean, Caleb obviously, they're out there with the jerseys and whatnot. They're holding it up, so it's a little perhaps more enticing than they're not holding up a Hayden Large jersey quite yet. But that's awesome that he stopped.
I'm always caught in the middle of what I'm supposed to do with that situation.
I just assume that they have no interest in us and we're moving
That's
along.
kind of how I am too. But I do wave just in case, because I also don't want to drive by and then someone's like, well, Adam Hoge's a big jerk because he doesn't even say hi.
Listen, just know that anybody that does this side of the microphone for a living, we're dying for any level of recognition. we don't self-validate. We need others to tell us that we're good at life. So if you that hello meant a ton today. So thank you very much, and that was awesome, and it was the highlight of my day. So thank you, Autumn.
Slick Nick, $10, first time super chat. Best part of my day. Special teams talk. Stadium talk, Carm dreams, Braggs bringing up lack of defensive line moves like we all don't know. Hoge A+, Ben saved this franchise and pulls his job. Bear down. That's a great super chat.
That's an outstanding super chat.
That's a guy who watches the show a lot. You could tell.
By the way, next weird comment from me on the show. I was walking behind Poles to the facility to back after practice yesterday.
Okay.
Ryan Poles. Great wingspan. Have you ever noticed that? He's got
long arms.
He's got really long arms. I mean, I don't know what those are 34 inches, but oh my God, you look like an NFL player, even though you didn't really play in the NFL. But I had never noticed that before. Dude could play on the wing in the NBA.
Great observation.
I thought it was a pretty good observation.
Okay. Jonathan Otten, our guy, Bears fan of the year, $2. I want more Carmonica. Certainly.
Yeah. It's not in the box.
All right.
Hopefully I'll find it.
Oh, great. It's not in the box. The box is empty. This is great. Jonathan Otten, $5. My heart skipped, Greg. I thought Carmonica was going to be the breaking super chat. Brick Juice for life. Plus, we all need more Jordan voice.
Jonathan Otten letting you know that Adam Rank apparently complimenting my reporting skills on the Sick podcast, which
what'd you report?
I have no idea. but thank you to Adam Rank. I was very proud. I was very happy to hear that. Adam Rank gets a Carmonica.
Rogue Agent wants to throw tomatoes at you.
Tomatoes are really in season right now, Rogue Agent. I wouldn't waste them. I've been Jaquella gets like this weird farm box from some house around here, and the tomatoes have been excellent. I highly recommend you eat your tomatoes.
Oh, you are just we've gotten the full Carm experience on this show today.
Hashtag tomatoes.
Bear Down Omaha, $2. Fired up for Carm Week.
Thank you, Bear Down Omaha.
Let's talk Rick Mahorn.
Did he really say that?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love Rick Mahorn. There will definitely be some 80s NBA references next week, but we're working on guests. I got I think the Nick Wright will be joining us. We got a Lou Canellis who said he would pop in. Big Steven wants to do a show. Pat Norton wants to do a show. It's going to be booked. We've also got an interview that we haven't played yet with Scott Daly in the can that we're going to play next week.
It's a good interview.
You'll get a touch of Hoge and Braggsy, so we'll keep them alive next week as they're doing great things. Jahns too, for that matter. So it's going to be a great week. I'm looking forward to it, and you guys will be back and rocking and rolling.
I believe in you.
Thank you so much.
Mostly Steven, but both of you.
I took extra notes this morning about next week, so don't.
Oh, wow.
Extra notes.
That's good, because I asked you about 24 hours ago what you had planned, and you're like, no idea.
Nothing. But we'll get there, buddy. I got to focus on this week. This is a big show.
That's a good
today.
point. And now,
Just like Ben Johnson,
we are done here on CHGO Bears. It's good to get through the offseason program. And here's the thing about what we do here at CHGO. We're not done.
we're never done.
We're going to have shows for you throughout these summer weeks, leading right into training camp. We'll have a lot of fun along the way, but we will also be, individually taking our time off. And that does include Braggs this coming week and myself this coming week.
I'm taking no time off until everybody's done taking their time off. And then I'm going to take extensive time off.
It's called training camp.
Yeah, you guys will be fine.
We will be. It'll be good. That's when Greg and I get really excited about football.
I got great news for Greg Braggs about training camp, but I won't tell him today.
Hi, Greg. I actually have bad news for Greg that I won't tell him today.
That's terrible.
And you're muted.
What do you want? That's great. Can I go to
You
Florida
popped up
now?
on the screen?
Can I go to Florida now?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know you had a flight to catch.
Somehow,
No,
some way,
I don't.
Braggs is
I'm
going to
actually
host.
going to record After Dark here as soon as this is over. That'll play Monday night. Just trying to give Carm a little bit of a pick me up as Carm week is officially upon us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, that was very nice of you. And so you will have After Dark on Monday. But enjoy your week in Florida.
I think what happened here is that Shane and Phil refused to work with me, and Greg
No,
was
they
like,
would love to get in the ring with you, but I just know that you're going to be tired. You're going to have so much on your shoulder next week that you wouldn't, be 100% to get in the Lions Den with Phil and Shane.
all right, you can tell me, you can mock me for not being able to assemble a bed all you want or anything
We
else.
will forever.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I ain't too tired to talk to Shane and Phil. You just want to do the show, which is fine. Don't tell me I'm too tired to talk to Shane and Phil. The hell out of here with that. I'll do 24 hours Danny Parkin style right here. Anytime of day, turn the microphone on.
World in which you would be able to do 24 straight hours.
100% I could.
No way.
100%.
You would be asleep by the 4th hour.
How many times have you hosted overnights?
That's different.
It's not.
It's not 24 straight hours.
Listen to me. If you
I
can
produce less for a full week.
if you can,
And I vowed I would never do it again.
I hosted extensive overnights on WGN back in the day when they did that, and then they had like the 5 o'clock hour was
Yeah, you were probably 20 years younger too.
I wasn't 20 years younger. I was 10 years younger. I love those shows.
All right, we're out of here. Hoge and Jahns tomorrow at 9 a.m. live. We will continue to break down Bears minicamp. And yes, it is Carm and Steven week with a touch of After Dark Monday night as well. We're not going anywhere. We'll see you later. Music plays. He's playing us out. He's playing us out.
What a bozo.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hoge's my daddy.
We all silly like the mayor.